Imagine you're a business owner relying on a dozen different software programs. Each one is expensive, overly complicated, and worst of all, none of them are connected. It can be incredibly stressful, right? Now, picture Odoo. CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and more. Odoo brings all the tools your business needs into one simple platform, and all seamlessly connected. Everything works together, giving you the peace of mind that your business is running smoothly from every angle. Odoo's open-source applications are user-friendly and designed to scale with your business, saving you time and money. Say goodbye to juggling multiple platforms and hello to efficient integrated management. Stop wasting resources on complicated systems and make the switch to Odoo today. Visit odoo.com, ODOO.com, and discover how Odoo can simplify and streamline your business operations. Odoo, modern management made simple.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Imagine coming home after a completely grueling week at work. You drop onto the couch, pull out your phone, and type this frustrated message into a group chat with your friends. You say, I am so done with this week. I just want to get away from it all.
Right. We've all been there.
Exactly. So you throw the phone down, you go to sleep, but when you wake up, you have a notification. Your bank account is $10,000 lighter, and you are the proud owner of a non-refundable one-way ticket to Antarctica.
Which is, it's terrifying because that wasn't some weird glitch in an app.
Oh.
That was a highly sophisticated software system working exactly as it was designed to work. It read your text, it interpreted your exhaustion, and then it cross-referenced your past search history for cold weather destinations.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it checked your available credit limit, navigated an airline's booking portal all by itself, and executed the purchase.
And that scenario, that's the perfect entry point for what we are exploring in this deep dive today.
Yeah.
We're pulling from a hot-off-the-press article published today, March 19, 2026, in the AI World Journal.
Yes, by Sidney Armani.
Right, Sidney Armani. The piece is called OpenClaw Fever, the global race to own the AI agent era. And, we aren't just looking at another incremental tech update today. We are looking at a tectonic shift.
A massive one.
Yeah, we're moving away from artificial intelligence that simply talks to you, and we're entering an era of artificial intelligence that actually takes action on your behalf.
Right. The transition from conversation to execution, it sounds like a subtle shift, but mechanically and, socially, it changes the entire foundation of how we interact with computers.
Totally.
We spent the last few years getting used to the idea of a machine that could write a poem or summarize a PDF. Now we have to get used to a machine that holds our wallet and our calendar.
Okay, let's unpack this because I think the terminology in the tech space gets incredibly muddy, incredibly fast.
Oh, absolutely.
When we talk about an AI agent, we are not talking about a really smart chatbot. To put it in perspective for you listening at home, a standard chatbot is essentially an encyclopedia that talks back.
Right. You ask it a question, it predicts the next best word to give you an answer, and the transaction is over.
Exactly. But an AI agent is like handing your credit card, your login credentials, and your social security number to a highly proactive intern who basically lives inside your operating system.
Yeah, a chatbot requires constant manual prompting. You have to steer the ship. But an agent operates on delegation.
Meaning you just give it a goal.
Right. You give an agent a high-level goal, like plan a vacation for my anniversary, and the agent autonomously breaks that goal down into 50 micro steps. It figures out the sequence, opens the necessary applications, navigates the interfaces, and completes the task without asking for your permission at every single juncture.
So the catalyst for this massive shift, the thing that proved this was actually possible at scale, is a framework called OpenClaw.
Yes, OpenClaw.
And to understand where this revolution is heading, we really have to look at how a piece of Western developer code turned into an absolute cultural phenomenon halfway across the world.
It's a crazy story.
It really is.
Yeah.
OpenClaw started in the US and Europe strictly as an open source framework. It was like a playground. Developers were building experimental agents to see if they could get AI to communicate across completely different incompatible applications.
They were testing the boundaries of API integration, basically. They wanted to see if an agent could, for instance, monitor a bustling Slack channel, extract the relevant data points about a project update, and then automatically draft a status report in a Gmail draft.
And didn't it even mess with Spotify?
Yeah. It would open Spotify and play a focused playlist based on the stress level of the messages it just read in Slack.
That is wild.
But, this was confined to a very tech-savvy crowd. It was a sandbox experiment because making those distinct apps talk to each other in the West requires incredibly complex engineering workarounds.
Right, but then the underlying open source code makes its way to China.
Yeah.
And the adoption wasn't just fast, it was explosive.
Oh, yeah.
The article actually uses the phrase OpenClaw fever to describe millions of everyday consumers suddenly using agents to order their weekly groceries, schedule complex social appointments across different friend groups.
Curate their daily entertainment.
Exactly. And even autonomously negotiate group discount purchases on e-commerce sites.
What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism that allowed everyday people to trust the software so quickly.
Right, because trust is the huge hurdle.
Exactly. And it comes down to a technical breakthrough Armani refers to as contextual chaining.
Contextual chaining. Let's break that down.
So in the earlier days of large language models, the AI had a very limited context window. If you talked to it for 20 minutes, it would start forgetting the things you said at the beginning of the conversation.
It was sort of like talking to someone with severe short-term memory loss.
Yes, which, makes it totally useless as a personal assistant.
Right, like if I tell my assistant on Monday that I'm allergic to peanuts, I really shouldn't have to remind them on Thursday when they order lunch.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So contextual chaining solves that by constantly extracting facts, preferences, and implicit intents from your daily interactions, and it writes them into a persistent dynamic knowledge graph.
So it's building a profile.
Yeah, the agent isn't just remembering the words you typed. It is building a constantly updating psychological profile of how you operate. It understands the unsaid implications of your requests over a span of months.
That's incredible. You aren't programming a machine. You are interacting with an entity that deeply understands your specific context.
Exactly.
But I want to focus on why this exploded in China specifically, because it wasn't just the contextual chaining technology that sparked the fire. It was the environment the technology was released into, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, we built this incredible futuristic bullet train in the West, but we don't have the tracks to run it on. Our digital lives are fractured.
Great fracture.
If I want an agent to plan a trip for me here, it has to somehow navigate past the security of my Apple Calendar, log into my specific Delta Airlines account, pull from my American Express, and coordinate with my friends on WhatsApp.
It's a total nightmare of separate logins, two-factor authentication, and competing corporate firewalls.
Right. It's like American developers built a Ferrari engine, but the Chinese super app ecosystem actually had the paved highway to drive it on.
That's a great analogy. China already had the interconnected rail network. The Chinese digital economy is dominated by massive tech conglomerates like Tencent and Alibaba, and they operate what we call super apps.
So Tencent didn't try to build a separate agent app.
No, they integrated OpenClaw directly into the foundational architecture of WeChat. And WeChat is already where Chinese consumers chat with friends, read the news, pay their utility bills, and hail a cab.
So the friction is entirely gone. To visualize this for you listening, imagine you are in a group chat planning a weekend getaway. The agent is just silently sitting in the chat with you.
Just observing.
Right. It analyzes the conversation, sees that 3 people want to go to the mountains and 2 want the beach. It autonomously searches for a mountain resort with a lake to compromise, pulls up the availability, and polls the group right there in the chat window.
And the moment everyone clicks thumbs up, the agent executes the booking using the payment system built into the app. Nobody ever closed the chat window.
That is it's seamless.
Alibaba executed a similar integration within Taobao and Alipay. They deployed agents that act as hyper-personalized shoppers.
So it's buying things for you.
Yeah. These agents learn your exact dimensions, your evolving fashion tastes, and your budget constraints. They scour thousands of vendors, negotiate prices on the back end using machine-to-machine communication, and suggest a curated wardrobe.
Wow.
And on the financial side, agents track your micro-spending habits and autonomously execute algorithmic trading strategies with your spare change.
I mean, removing that digital friction sounds like a utopia. But removing friction also means removing the human filter.
And that's the catch.
Right. And when a machine acts without a human filter, the mistakes aren't just funny autocomplete errors anymore. They are executed actions with real-world consequences. This frictionless environment accidentally became the first massive, real-world experiment in human-agent cohabitation.
And it essentially opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, it did. The vulnerabilities became glaringly obvious almost overnight, like that Antarctica ticket anecdote we opened with.
Right. That is a prime example of the semantic gap. An AI, no matter how advanced its contextual chaining is, lacks the lived human experience required to understand hyperbole, sarcasm, or, emotional venting.
It treats a frustrated joke as a literal command parameter.
Exactly.
And a $10,000 mistake is brutal for a consumer. But when you scale that unbridled autonomy up to the enterprise level, the horror stories in this article shift from personal financial pain to corporate catastrophe.
Oh, absolutely. We saw massive automated data breaches, not from hackers breaking into a system, but from agents just trying to be helpful.
Let's walk through the mechanics of how that actually happens, because it's wild. A company deploys an OpenClaw agent into their corporate Slack workspace.
Right.
And they give it access to the CEO's email inbox so it can help draft weekly memos and summarize meeting notes.
Sounds harmless enough.
Right, until an entry-level employee in a public channel asks the agent, hey, can you summarize the primary goals for the company this quarter?
And the agent dutifully scans all available data, finds a hidden draft email in the CEO's inbox detailing a highly confidential merger and acquisition plan,
Synthesizes that data into a neat bulleted list.
and posts it in the public Slack channel for all 300 employees to see.
Just incredible.
The agent didn't malfunction. It successfully completed the prompt. The failure was in the architecture. It completely lacked an understanding of corporate hierarchy, clearance levels, and, well, the concept of a secret.
Yeah, it doesn't know what a secret is.
Right. But internal leaks were only the beginning. Malicious actors realized that if an agent can autonomously navigate the web and mimic human conversation, it can be weaponized.
So we aren't talking about old-school bot farms copying and pasting the same political meme.
No, we're talking about deploying thousands of agents, each program to study an individual target's social media, find their specific vulnerabilities, and autonomously generate personalized phishing scams or highly tailored disinformation.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
Campaigns.
And the fallout from these enterprise leaks and scams was so severe that the Chinese regulators brought the hammer down immediately.
They did.
They outright banned the use of OpenClaw and any similar consumer-grade agents on government and state-owned enterprise networks. The unbridled autonomy that made the technology go viral was the exact characteristic that made it an unacceptable security risk at the institutional level.
It was just too dangerous.
But wait, I want to push back on this panic for a second. Think about the apps on your phone right now. You already give Google Maps your exact physical location 24/7.
Sure.
You give Mint or Plaid your banking passwords. You give TikTok your behavioral data. Why is giving an AI agent access to my email or my Slack fundamentally any different from the digital privacy we surrendered a decade ago?
It's a really critical distinction to make, and it hinges on the concept of agency versus observation.
Okay, agency versus observation.
Right. When a weather app tracks your location, it is passively harvesting data. It might sell that data to advertisers, which is definitely a privacy issue, but the app itself isn't doing anything to you.
Got it.
But when an AI agent is granted agency, it shifts from passive observation to active execution. It is autonomously moving corporate funds, signing digital contracts, or sending emails in your name.
So the risk surface isn't just data privacy anymore. It is operational liability.
Exactly. If a standard app crashes, you lose an hour of work. If an agent with high-level permissions misinterprets a command, it could accidentally liquidate a stock portfolio or send your company's intellectual property to a competitor.
And where there is massive enterprise liability, there is massive market opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
The chaos of OpenClaw basically created a vacuum.
Yeah.
Enterprises realized they desperately wanted the productivity gains of an AI agent, but they couldn't risk the unhinged autonomy. So a very familiar tech titan stepped in to monetize the concept of control.
NVIDIA,
Yep.
the company that basically manufactured the hardware for the entire AI boom, decided to build the software infrastructure for the agent era.
Here's where it gets really interesting. NVIDIA didn't look at OpenClaw and try to build a slightly better version for the everyday consumer. They built NemoClaw, and the architecture is a direct, calculated response to every single corporate horror story we just discussed.
It is. NemoClaw is an enterprise-grade agent platform built explicitly for the C-suite.
So how does it work?
They engineered it around the concept of sandboxed environments. In the OpenClaw model, the agent acts like a free-roaming employee with a master key to the building. NemoClaw's sandboxing works more like a digital clean room.
Okay.
You explicitly define the agent's operating parameters, and the architecture physically prevents the software from seeing anything outside of those parameters.
So if I deploy an HR agent to help schedule candidate interviews, I'm not just telling it, please don't look at the CFO's financial models. The sandbox physically severs the connection to those databases.
Exactly. The AI doesn't even know the financial data exists to hallucinate about it.
That's a huge difference.
Furthermore, they introduced cryptographic audit trails. One of the biggest problems with deep learning models is the black box effect. The AI makes a decision, and the engineers have no idea how it arrived at that conclusion.
Right, it's just a black box.
NemoClaw logs every single micro-decision, API call, and data access point an agent makes. If a mistake happens, you have an immutable paper trail detailing the exact chain of logic the AI used.
And to prevent the rogue CEO email leak entirely, they implemented human-in-the-loop checkpoints.
Yes. NemoClaw simply does not allow full autonomy for high-stakes actions.
So it pauses.
Yeah, you can let the agent research a vendor, draft a purchase order, and fill out all the banking details, but the moment it tries to authorize the transfer of funds, the system physically pauses. It sends a push notification to a verified human employee who has to explicitly authenticate the action before the money moves.
It marries the speed of automated synthesis with the liability protection of human oversight. It's paired with enterprise identity management, meaning that the agent only operates under the strict permissions of the specific employee who deployed it.
Exactly. It's brilliant.
The engineering is brilliant, yeah. But we have to look at NVIDIA's business model here, because this is vertical integration at its most aggressive.
Totally.
To run NemoClaw, to maintain these complex air-gapped sandboxes, to constantly verify permissions, and to cryptographically log thousands of actions a second, requires an absolutely immense amount of computational power. You can't run this on a standard cloud server.
Which means if a Fortune 500 company wants the security of NemoClaw, they are practically forced to purchase racks of NVIDIA's highest margin hardware.
The H100 and B200 GPUs.
Right. NVIDIA uses the promise of secure software to drive massive hardware sales and then charges a recurring licensing fee for the platform on top of it.
So if OpenClaw started the gold rush, NVIDIA isn't just selling the pickaxes. They're building a fortified bank vault, locking up the gold, and charging the enterprises a massive cover fee to get inside.
Pretty much.
But taking a step back, does this dynamic essentially kill the open source dream of AI? Like, if the only safe, legally viable way to deploy an agent requires millions of dollars in corporate infrastructure, what happens to the independent developer in their garage?
It's a fair question. It doesn't necessarily kill the open source movement, but it violently bifurcates the market.
How so?
Well, the open source community will continue to be the chaotic engine of innovation. They will figure out the next breakthroughs in contextual chaining or API navigation because they aren't bogged down by corporate compliance.
Right.
But NVIDIA is betting that when it comes time to actually deploy those breakthroughs in a business setting, enterprises will gladly pay a premium for the hardened, monetized infrastructure.
Yeah.
They are paying for the guarantee that their digital intern won't accidentally sell the company.
Okay, so we have NVIDIA locking down the enterprise space with military-grade security and China rapidly integrating agents into their super apps. But that leaves a massive question mark regarding the everyday consumer here in the US and Europe.
It really does.
We are not seeing that explosive overnight integration of agents into our daily lives. Armani refers to this in the article as the Western paradox. We have the most advanced AI labs in the world, but we are dragging our feet on deployment.
The paradox exists because we have built-in cultural and regulatory friction that acts as a natural brake system. We already discussed our fragmented app ecosystem, the lack of the tracks for the train.
Yeah.
But you also have to factor in heavy regulatory frameworks like GDPR in Europe and a much stronger cultural skepticism regarding individual data sovereignty. Western consumers are inherently warier of handing over the keys to their digital lives to a centralized system.
And the major Western AI players realize they can't force the Chinese super app model onto a market that doesn't want it, so they are pivoting.
A huge pivot.
The article highlights a massive strategic move by OpenAI. They recently hired Peter Steinberger. Steinberger was actually one of the key original architects of the OpenClaw ecosystem.
He's the guy who helped build the chaotic open source engine.
Exactly. But his explicit, publicly stated mission at OpenAI is to make AI agents even my mom can use.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that quote reveals the entire Western strategy. The race in the West isn't to be the first company to let an autonomous agent loose in your bank account.
Right.
The race is to be the most usable, safe, and trusted platform when consumers finally decide they are ready to delegate their lives. They are prioritizing a seamless, polished user experience over raw, unchecked functionality.
There is a comparison table in the article that really crystallizes how fast the landscape has changed. It contrasts the ChatGPT explosion we all lived through in late 2022 with the OpenClaw agent era we are navigating right now.
It's a great comparison.
In 2022, the core function of the technology was information generation. You typed a prompt, and the machine generated text or code.
And because it was just generating text, the primary risks were relatively contained. We were worried about a high school student plagiarizing an essay or a blog post containing algorithmic hallucinations.
Yeah, it disrupted content creation, but it didn't disrupt physical infrastructure.
Exactly.
Now look at the agent era. The core function isn't generation, it is action and execution. The user interaction shifts from prompt and response to delegation and oversight.
You aren't chatting with the system, you are managing it.
Right. And because it can act, the risks escalate from a plagiarized essay to severe financial loss, corporate security breaches, and massive privacy violations.
It is disrupting actual workflows, application interfaces, and digital commerce.
But this cautious approach makes me wonder, is the West moving too slow? If we prioritize polish, safety, and endless human-in-the-loop verifications over rapid iteration, do we lose the agency race altogether?
It's a valid concern.
Like, will other markets just accept the risks, build the infrastructure, and dictate the future of the internet while we are still testing safety protocols?
It is the ultimate innovator's dilemma playing out on a geopolitical scale. Moving slowly ensures you don't accidentally break the financial system.
True.
But moving too slowly means you might find yourself operating in a digital economy governed by standards set by someone else. The major players in the West are placing a massive bet that trust will ultimately be the most valuable currency in the agent era.
Because without trust, there's no adoption.
Exactly. If a consumer doesn't fundamentally trust the agent, they simply will not use it, regardless of how computationally powerful it is.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this right now? The core takeaway to internalize is that the AI race is no longer just about intelligence. The underlying models are smart enough.
Flying smart.
The race is now entirely about agency. As this technology inevitably starts to handle your workflows, negotiate your purchases, and sort your communications, you need to be aware of two massive battles happening behind the scenes. First is the trust protocol, how the tech industry will mathematically verify an agent's intent so you know it's acting in your best interest. And second is the interoperability war.
That interoperability war will define consumer technology for the next decade.
How so?
Think about it. If you deploy an agent built on an open source framework, will an enterprise agent running on NVIDIA's lockdown NIMA even be allowed to interact with it?
Oh, wow.
Or what about Apple's inevitable future agent operating system? Are we heading toward a new era of severe platform lock-in where your digital assistance utility is limited by corporate rivalries?
It fundamentally changes how we think about our digital footprint. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, building on Armani's concept of human-agent cohabitation.
And it's a wild thought. If we truly enter an era where we rely on these autonomous digital companions to manage our communications, schedule our social lives, and negotiate our commerce, we have to ask a profound question. At what point do our personal agents just start talking to each other directly, bypassing us entirely to optimize for efficiency?
Just agent to agent.
Exactly. And if Apple agents are programmed to prefer negotiating with other Apple agents, or NumClaw agents only trust other NumClaw agents, does the future of human connection become dictated by the API compatibility of the bots we hire to represent us?
I mean, imagine handing your digital intern your calendar, and suddenly it's deciding who you get to be friends with based on whether they bought the right brand of software.
It's a little unsettling.
It is a wild, slightly dystopian thought to end on, but it is exactly where the technology is pointing. Well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today exploring the shift from talking AI to acting AI. This has been a deep dive into the AI World Journal piece on OpenClaw, unpacking the shift toward digital agency. Keep a close eye on your digital interns, and we will catch you next time.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
Hey y'all, it's Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. Picture this. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app when you spot it. A brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's room of choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.